So BTC floating around 61K. We've had a little bit of a pullback now after all the SOL excitement yesterday, and SOL traders have settled down. They've obviously taken profits. SOL is coming down. So we're going to look at my next Solana entry, which is almost a sort of at our zone. Then I've got a couple of SOL ecosystem plays for you guys that could be interesting if there's going to be SOL strength. But most importantly today, I'm bringing in Hustle, the love muscle, and he's going to give us some gaming pointers here. We're looking at some potential projects that could be failing. Maybe they're not the best ones to hold. And then we got a list from him, some of his absolute bangers. So it's Friday. We got so much to talk about here. Let's get right into it. Remember, my regular home is on Banter Plus. I'm here on the main channel today because Uncle is still away. He is back again on Sunday with a big meme banger show for you. But if you like this type of action, come and hang with me on Banter Plus. And obviously, hit the like and subscribe if you like it here. But most importantly, if you want action there, come and see me on Banter Plus. Let's take a look at Banter Bubbles right now. And nice little mixed bag here. So we have had a pullback and, a little performer here. ENS has really been absolutely flying the last couple of days. 𝗬𝗓𝗓 as well, nice little move, and PulseX is coming alive again if there are any PulseX community fans out there. And we did see some strength from AVAX yesterday, so that is also looking good. Hit a TP zone earlier and maybe time for a potential reload, but overall a little bit of a mixed bag at the moment. And where is BTC? So what have they done? So based on where we were yesterday, we had our nice little rejection at the 62,475 level, so that was expected once again in that region, and we have drifted now nicely down into this existing 382. So I'm at 60,800. This is an area of interest for me now that I am watching and looking for some kind of reaction in this zone. I see my pen isn't working, and if we do move a little bit lower, the next big one for me is the unchanged level that we've been talking about all week. It's the bull zone for me. It's the 59,850, and that is where I want to see a big result here and a big bounce if they are going to make this thing turn around eventually. So 59,850. My pen isn't working here, but you get the picture. 59,850. This is my next bounce level lower down that I'm going to be watching. And then where are we going to see the bulls come back alive? Well, for me, if we're going to get the bulls coming alive, we really need to break these highs at 62,500, this sort of region here at the top. And then we want to blow that trend, and then we're going to turn super bullish. But for now, BTC in a little downtrend, and we are just waiting to see now where this current little pullback is going to settle. Let's take a look at what is happening here today. So the 𝗘𝗬𝗟 letter gave us a little bit of news today, and we had the PCE inflation data, and it actually came out as expected. But we saw the S&P really reacted quite nicely to that, and it's actually gapped up a little bit. So I've got my eyes on the S&P at the moment, but you can see we are now new all-time highs off the back of this news. So that is quite exciting. And surprisingly, again, crypto is going the wrong way. So we see the S&P really pushing nicely, and BTC having a little pullback at the moment. So that is something we're going to be watching. But a little bit of bull news out there. These Bitfinex whales, they are back again. And we can see they've now added over 5,000 BTC since the low. And James from Startons is telling us this is a good gauge for marking cycle lows and highs. So there's a lot of guys that think that is a potential low there of the move. And could we be seeing a little bit more action? Now, yesterday, it was all about this presidential debate yesterday. And, we were looking at some of these meme tokens, and I've got a scientific way to calculate who actually won that presidential debate. But firstly, the 𝗘𝗬𝗟 letter is just giving us a little bit of information here. They're saying the odds of Trump winning the 2024 presidential election surged to a 63% high. Okay, since the debate, odds of Trump winning the election have surged by over 10%, and Biden has gone down to 37%. Now, I didn't catch the full the full debate there, but I did see a couple of funny things floating around and a couple of interesting things. And I thought this video was going to be quite an interesting one to watch, because these two are debating their golf game. And I thought maybe we should get some fellow Americans here to maybe just comment on their thoughts. This is Hustle is here. He's in the house. Welcome. And obviously you guys know Ray, you familiar. And I just thought, let's bang out this video here and just try and gauge what exactly is going on here with these two. And we've basically got to a point where we are now arguing about our golf game. Let's pull this thing up quickly. Let me know if you can hear the sound here, Ray.
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is. And
I think he just called him fat.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6.
It was a 6 handicap.
And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
Wants Trump to carry his own bag.
It was a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. But I have, how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Let's
not act like children.
President Trump.
I mean, these two are literally they're behaving like children here. What do you guys make of this situation? They're arguing about the one's fat, who's carries his own bag. The other one was a 6 handicap. What's the story here, guys?
Well,
my Americans, talk to me.
Well, this is the choices that we have to run our country currently, which is insane to think about. But I have to say thank you for this meme, because I was on the sniping apps last night, and Biden's handicap came up, and I hit that one whenever it popped up. But,
did you go long Biden's handicap?
It's always good for something, right?
These Solana meme guys, they never stop. So we were looking at a lot of these meme tokens, and the easiest way to calculate who won the debate is just to work out which of these meme coins dumped the hardest, and I think that's effectively going to actually give us the answer. So the first one you want to look at is Bowden. So this is one we were watching, and don't forget they had 105% pump leading into this thing, and Bowden gave us a 58% dump. Well, let's call it a 64% dump from the highs. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, so 64% dump. What did MAGA give us? Let's just take a look here. Let's go from these highs here, and you can see MAGA actually won the presidential debate. MAGA was only down 50%. So I mean, if we're using that as a guide, I think Trump's going to win this.
I think that's you always call it science. I think that's pretty sound science.
We literally just charted who's going to win the US presidency. But yeah, it's as simple as that, guys. So yeah, we didn't get the result we wanted. I was looking for a little bit more of a pump in some of these tokens, but they all sort of sold them off. But we're going to see. We'll see how these things play out over the next couple of weeks, guys. I'm going to get into some of my other stuff. You're welcome to hang around here. Stick around, hustle. You can watch the science at play here, and let me get some of these charts up. So before we get into the gaming things, I've just wanted to cover BTC. I want to cover ETH for you guys, and then obviously my Sol entry that is on its way, and a couple of other plays here. So BTC liquidation map that I'm watching at the moment. This is the 1 day, and you can see they're playing a little bit of games at the moment. You saw that little level we were sitting on now. So I'm watching this here down to anything round about this 59,800 level. You can see that's a nice little zone here, a nice little pocket, and that ties in very nicely with my current bounce zone. And then if they're really going to be dark and deadly here with us, we're looking at about 58,300. So that is what we're looking at. You can see the shorts are starting to build up again as well. So maybe we could get some kind of pump. And if you take a look at the right-hand side here, anything up to about 64,500. That is a nice little interesting level that we are watching. So that is that. It's a little bit higher. That's going to be a little trend break for us. That's going to send us to some decent levels there. So the market can turn pretty bullish if we do have that. And then a recap here on BTC on the daily. Just a reminder for anyone getting overly bullish here, we are in a downtrend on the daily. So we cannot get too excited. We cannot get too bullish until we start breaking this existing downtrend. So we'll be looking for a much bigger move here out of BTC. But when we start blowing this trend, things are going to get a little bit more interesting for us. But right now, I'm watching 59,850 on the daily as well. And then a little bit lower down, we've got our 200-day moving average, 57,900. These are the hot zones that I am paying attention to now on BTC. When we do break this trend, then things are going to get a little bit more exciting. And then one of the ones we really need to watch, those of you that are trading a lot of altcoins at the moment, and you will note these alts have really started outperforming, and a lot of it has to do with the current dominance situation. We can see dominance on the 12-hour dropping very nicely here, and that is helping unleash some of these altcoins for us. So we had a nice little rejection on dominance not too long ago, and now it rejected here off the 100-day MA, the 618, and now we are pushing down nicely. So just a warning I gave to the Sniper Club members earlier today on our live session, there is a bounce zone. I've highlighted this bounce zone in the yellow, and at this area here, 53.8, I'm looking for a reaction on dominance. That could result in a little bit of weakness on these altcoins. So look out if dominance is dropping into this zone here, 53.8%. Look out for a dominant bounce. That is where you could potentially be looking to TP some profits on these altcoins, because we might see a little shift there, and there might be some more strength flowing into BTC. So keep your eyes out on that, and especially while you are trading these altcoins. And then no changes for me. ETH BTC still looking very bullish on the monthly. We do have a trend break, and we want to see where this monthly is going to close. And very interesting here, if we can get a close above this trend line, that could be super bullish for all the ETH bros. And I'm in that basket at the moment. I've been an ETH bro trader here for the last couple of weeks, and still looking for an ETH break on my 12-hour chart. So this is ETH on the 12-hour, and you can see we've had a nice rejection once again, 3,500, big resistance band here for us on ETH at the moment, and support levels that you want to watch. If you are trading ETH now, you're sitting in ETH positions. Number one, 3,380. That is your zone that you're going to be paying attention to here, 3,380. And then a little bit lower down here, I've got that little 618 pool, and that is 3,330. So these are the levels you want to be watching today, this weekend, for ETH on any weakness. These could offer you some potential scalp or bounce opportunities here. Let's see who is floating around here in the chats at the moment. Where are the people here? And I see Lost Son of Crypto says Dylan stays fitted, a new era committed. The man is a poet. And we've got the King Terry asking for some ILV here for us. And Mr. Fib, the science guy, yes, another scientist here in the house. Welcome. He says he approves the science. Well, it's nice to have a fellow Fibonomics professor here hanging out with us. What else we got here? Magoo from Scotland. I'm not sure what's going on there. And Jeff Wolf's got some comments there on Biden. And let's see, Ray shares some Bahamas here, Ray. And Ray is, and Pickle's not happy with that current debate. Guys, it is a little bit cringy that those two arguing about little golf swings and their weight and their current fitness. But anyway, that's another story. Right, let's cover Solana at the moment. I just want to see, and just to sort of recap where we are. Now, we had this great news yesterday on Sol, but the reality is, there's a couple of things we might have to be waiting for this ETF approval. But Marty Party dropped a little comment here from market maker GSRIO, and they basically saying there's an 8.9x appreciation on the table for Sol on this ETF approval. So 8 or 9x from here could be an absolute banger there for Solana traders. Then we've got Hitesh just basically telling us yesterday that Sol was undervalued, and his value for Sol at today's levels is only 146, and that's roughly where we are sitting at the moment for Sol. So you would have noticed a mega pump here on Solana, and then a big sell-off, and he's talking about 146 as a fair trading value on Solana. And Cointelegraph just reminding everybody to calm down, and they basically saying the Sol ETF won't be approved this year. Okay, so maybe everyone got ahead of themselves yesterday buying into Sol on that news, and you can see that is now getting that story is getting told now on the current sell-off. And they're saying, look, a new US president and change in the SEC leadership could make anything possible for 2025, but no Sol ETF happening this year. Now, those of you that were watching yesterday, we had a beautiful Sol long. That was a nice little move, and great news, great news coming in there, and that offered everybody a nice big move on Sol. There was good profit taking, and I gave an area of interest for my next potential Sol long yesterday, and we are slowly drifting into that zone. If the bulls are going to step in, this is where we need the bulls to come into play. So for me, Solana trades, there's potential longs here at around about this 140 region. So what I'm looking for here, just a little dip into the zone, and this could happen over this weekend. So we could see a lot of up down here at the moment, and then we want a little dip into that zone, and that could initiate a little buy there for us on Sol. So I'm watching 140 very closely, 138 very closely here. There's horizontals here for us. There's a 382, and looks like a nice little retest here after a little pump. So if the bulls are going to come alive, that is the big zone for me for Sol traders. That is your next potential long teeing up, and then a little bit lower down, we do need our backup level, and this one was untapped, and this was one of our secondary entry zones. This is 133 that we are looking at on Sol. So 133 long level for me, 140 to 138 long level for me as well. I see Richard Clark says, I feel like about the market must be about to pump. Yeah, so Richard, it's just awareness. Remember, when you guys are feeling super bearish and those types of things, especially when these types of sell-offs, some of our best entries happen when these candles are so nice and red. So hopefully some of you didn't buy the top of that Sol move, but if you want a piece of Sol and you are a bull on the market and overall, well, these are two entry zones for the Sol traders that you should be able to jump into. So I'm going to be trading this one on CoinCatch. I'm just waiting at the moment for my entry. I'm teed up and ready to go, and when it hits my 140 to 138 region, I'm going to be buying Sol on CoinCatch. And just a reminder, CoinCatch traders, they've got a unique offer just for today. You can see they've limited this thing. There's 1 hour left on this existing offer. They're saying $20 sign-up reward to the first 20 participants that sign up right now on CoinCatch. This is no KYC exchange, and you can get trading immediately with just an email address. So jump in there. The first 20 that jump on here are going to get a $20 sign-up bonus for CoinCatch. So there is a link in the description for you. Just go under the show here, and you can see our link in description, and it's second from the top here, CoinCatch, and jump in and take advantage, but it's limited to the first 20. So take a look there. And before we get hustle on, I wanted to jump into a couple of Sol plays. Now remember, if Sol is going to wake up again and Sol is going to show strength, we need to look at a couple of Sol plays on the Sol ecosystem and things like that. And obviously there's tons that we can look at, but I've selected a few for you today. And the first one of interest for me is 𝗓𝗓, and this is 𝗓𝗓 USDT on the 4 hour that I'm watching currently. And you can see at the moment, Sol is settling down into a potential bounce zone. And at the same time, we've got 𝗓𝗓 moving in to this 382 level at the moment. So looking for a potential bounce at the same time that we get a Sol bounce. I'm just struggling with my pen here at the moment. And look, hopefully at some point, they're going to give me my pen back. Okay, but the level that I've got here is 0.81 that I'm watching now for 𝗓𝗓. We are looking for that to tie into a Sol bounce at around about 140. If we get that bounce on Sol, we should get a 𝗓𝗓 bounce at a similar level. And then the same way we were looking at Sol a little bit lower down, we were looking at Sol at 133. If we do start losing levels on Sol, our next banger zone here for 𝗓𝗓 is going to be around about 0.767. So we're going to be watching that zone, 0.767, a little bit lower down here. And the current area where it is now, 0.81. Both of these are potential scalper zones here. And once we see Sol settling down, we should get a little bit more clarity on 𝗓𝗓. Then the next one is Bonk, and very simple play. Bullish Sol, you go bullish Bonk, you go bullish Whiff, you go bullish Myro, Popcat, and all those types of things tend to run very nicely when Sol pops. And you can see Bonk was no different yesterday. Nice big move, and typical little rejection. They gave us a rejection at the 100-day moving average and horizontal. So always a good area to TP. If you are sitting in positions and your tokens are pumping, always look out. Where's the 100-day MA? Where's the 50-day MA? And those are great TP zones there. Those are often areas where the bears can step in, and also look for a couple of shorts there. So Bonk as well is moving into a nice zone, just as we're seeing Sol dipping into an area of interest here. I've got Bonk moving into this multiple zeros 225 level. If we can get Bonk at this multiple 225 level, that could be a nice banger play with Sol moving into that 140 level. And then I do have my backup zone for you, and that is that 618. So if Sol starts drifting back to 133, we're most likely going to see Bonk move into the 618 fib region, and that's going to be multiple zeros 208. So two big zones here for you on 𝗓𝗓, two big zones here for you on Bonk as well. You're going to be watching those areas closely, and if we get a Sol bounce, those are your zones, those are your scalper areas that you are going to be looking at. And then another one for me was Pyth. Now I've been talking about Pyth on and off for the last couple of weeks. This thing was so oversold against BTC, and it was so oversold on the USD. I think we had a 70 or 80% dump from the highs on Pyth. Pyth is basically the equivalent of Link on Solana, and maybe it is time for some Pyth action. Maybe it's time for Pyth to come alive again. And right now, this is Pyth versus BTC that I'm watching, and you can see we have had a small little recovery here against BTC. So a small little trend break that we are watching at the moment against BTC, and that could be an opportunity opportunity that Pyth is starting to give us here, and maybe a little bit of strength versus BTC. Maybe it's time that Pyth has found a bottom. And again, we're going to tie this one into any bullish Solana plays here. So if Sol starts ripping, I would expect Pyth to start doing something similar. And Pyth traders here, we'll keep it very, very simple here. And right now you can see we've got a nice horizontal in play at these lows. I still don't have my pen, so just bear with me, please, folks. And that is 0.31. So I'm watching this band here in the 0.3 to 0.31 region, and looking for a type of move out of Pyth. If we do push up, we are looking at some horizontals here, 0.40. That is going to be our target for Pyth. If we do get that move, I don't have any tools here on my screen at the moment. Forgive me. And right, so Pyth, this lower band, I'm looking for entries anywhere in this lower band region. These are spot plays that I'm looking at. If we're going to have strength against BTC with Pyth, we expect that things to start pushing a little bit higher there for us. And then our target for Pyth, the first target is 0.3. So we're not going to get too excited there. We're looking at 0.4 as our potential target there on Pyth, 0.4. And that is the level number 1 that we are going to be playing. So take a look at Pyth, get that one on your watch list. And I think we could see a little bit of action here. Okay, let's get Hustle on. Let's get the man on. And there he is, our resident gaming expert. And welcome. And thanks for your insights there on the two presidential men. And what's happening?
Gaming coin full-time, political scientist on the side. So that's what we do here.
I'm going to just pull up. I'm going to pull up your YouTube quickly here while we're chatting. What's happening in the gaming world? So, I mean, while I'm pulling this up here, what I've seen is lots of downside on some of these gaming tokens. We had a massive gaming move, a few months back, and right now, not much follow through at the moment. What's the latest there on the market?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of following the same trajectory that AI coins have for the last few months. These things come in waves, and when the narrative kind of dies down, it goes down pretty quickly. Now, what I would say for gaming is over the last year, the market has been led by games actually coming to market with a game. Now, the problem is, we're not getting enough product that people really engage in and dive into coming out too frequently. So we're waiting on a catalyst to come through the door that's a quality game that people actually stick to, because everything kind of comes in waves at this point in time. So right now it's a waiting game. I think gaming will have its day, but right now it's just not in the limelight. Memes are taking over everything.
Yeah, it's meme town at the moment. I mean, it's ridiculous. They launch a Biden's handicap meme and this thing absolutely rips. So, I mean, yeah. It's easily accessible, right? So the guys are definitely chasing memes. So this is Hustle's channel. He's got his own channel here in the game. For those of you that don't know, I'm sure a lot of you know about it, but in the game, go give him a follow there and jump onto his channel. He's doing regular gaming content for you guys. And yeah, looking forward to hearing your thoughts on a couple of things here. So one of my topics here was on this tile. We're looking at potentially bearish gaming projects that we could potentially say we might want to rotate out of, if that's the right phrase. And then a couple of bullish ones we're looking at. And we're also running a poll here, Hustle, at the moment in the chats. And we just wanted to get some feedback from the guys watching as some of their favorite tokens here. And so far, we've put out a list here: Prime, IMX, Ronin, and Beam. And 41% are still loving Beam at the moment. I see 30% are big IMX fans.
So IMX, what is in the lead right now?
Beam, 41%.
Okay, good one. I would choose Beam, Run, or Prime out of those, but I like them all, of course.
Okay, so talk to me about a couple of sad gaming tokens. I had a feeling about Axie, but you mentioned maybe Sand as well. Give me your
I wouldn't be investing in Axie necessarily, but I also wouldn't call Axie Infinity dead. Like the Ronin blockchain, it's still one of their most popular games. Now, do I think the token is something that you should be investing in? Yeah, I'm going to leave it on the sidelines this cycle, just to be completely fair with you. But I gave you a few that have legitimate reasons, I think, that you just should not touch them this cycle. So we can go through those.
Okay, so the first one I got on your list here is Sand.
Sand is sad. You basically may as well change the ticker and take out the N inside of Sand. So a few weeks back, they raised like I don't know, a new round. They raised $20 million or something like that. But then the on-chain scientists went through. You got me saying science. This is catchy.
Yeah, that's right.
The on-chain analysts came through the door and they found the user counts that are playing Sandbox currently, and it's like 24 players per day. 24, and they raised almost as many millions as that. Right. The day that they announced a $20 million fundraise, they had 24 people on chain playing the game, which is almost 1 million per person. So.
Wow.
To me, it's just something that should not be in your bags this cycle. They were a first mover. We'll always salute them for being one of the coins that set off the gaming run. But as far as adoption goes, kids these days, they have the choice between Minecraft or Sandbox, which is a Minecraft knockoff. What are they going to play? They're going to play Minecraft. They ain't coming here.
No. Okay. So, I mean, sand was always a great trade. And if you didn't give me this information, I would have said, well, we're on a level. There could be a trade coming here. But that's purely technical. If you're holding bags of sand, you've heard it from the man. 24 players a day. Not looking good. You might want 24,000 players a day. Might be a little bit more interesting.
That would be bullish, yes.
Okay. So, if you are sitting in a sand position, what I can give you from a charts perspective. Now, let's say you're holding a bag of sand. What I can give you here is major support. And what this is telling me is that we could potentially, if the market starts bouncing here, we could see a bounce in sand, and that could give you an exit opportunity. So, if you're looking to adjust things at the moment, we are sitting on a level, and there might be some kind of move out of sand, and it will give you an opportunity to exit, on a bit more of a greener candle, if that's a decent explanation there. But yeah, massive level here for sand. If we start losing this current level that it's on, 0.275, I think this thing's going to zero, basically. And this is a major weekly chart here, and it's going to be downhill from there. You can see from these highs that they have given us previously. Look at the size of this pump, and that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one to get back, I would say. So if we just try and get our measuring tool out here. No, they're not giving me the measuring tool here either at the moment. So things are looking a little bit sand for sand. Potential bounce on the table here. Maybe it's time to start rotating into another project. So Hustle's going to give us a couple of other projects of interest. You can see in the poll, some of those are, some of his favorites as well. So you can look at some of those. Let's go on to your next dog. Can we call it a dog?
Yeah, you can. These last cycle tokens, first and foremost, these are not hitting all-time highs again. Rule that out. Because of the market cap changes. And I know, as far as fundamentals, when I look at a coin, if it's from last cycle, I'm almost 90% of the time counting out all-time highs because the market caps have changed so drastically, the dilution, etc. But with Decentraland, honestly, the game, number one, is worse than Sand. Funny enough, they have more users than Sand. So it's interesting, but
what's going on here? Yeah, he's muted. You muted. Is it a fire alarm? What's happening there? You've been muted.
They got him. What
do you mean?
They got him.
I just had the podium come on. They're doing fire alarm testing downstairs. I'm good.
Okay, as long as you're safe. Okay, so yeah, continue.
Okay, so this game surprisingly has more users than Sandbox currently, which is preposterous to me because when you look at, they have about 800 users over the 30 days, which is unique users. But when you break that down 30 days, you're only talking about 30 people per day or so on average. So these types of games, sure, they set off a big cascade in the market, and maybe people will come back who just have Coinbase and they'll be like, oh, I like gaming quite a bit. And they might buy Axie, they might buy Mana, they might buy Sand, but that money isn't going to drive these coins to where they need to be. I would leave these out of your portfolio 100%.
Okay. So look, yeah, that's a very sad state of affairs for both of those at the moment. What I can give you from a chart perspective is we are at the absolute lows of a weekly range. Okay, so if you were just trading this on the chart and you were expecting some kind of action, these are your lows. These are where you're looking for a potential move higher. So we are on major support here on the weekly, and the market's going to be turning pretty bad if it's going to be losing these types of levels. So we're going to watch this big support here. If you start losing the support, this thing again, it's on its way to zero. I reckon the market knows then what's up, and this thing is going to start ending itself. So right here, potential bounce on the table, literally a chart play. Fundamentally, this thing is wrecked, and good luck with that. If we start blowing this trend, then retail could really get involved and they could start pushing this thing a little bit harder. But the suggestion here is any big green candles here, maybe it's the time to start exiting and rebalancing and maybe moving into some newer gaming projects that Hustle has potential suggestions on. So Sand and Decentraland, I'll be taking them off my watch list for now. Thank you very much.
I love this comment. My Sand Snoop Party Pass has lost value. I think so, Mark, unfortunately.
Ray, where's our comments yet? Oh, here it is. So my Sandbox Snoop Party Pass. Yeah, I remember this thing was huge. I mean, didn't they have like Adidas involved and things like that as well? Weren't they like
Had every partnership, every business involved you could imagine, but I don't know. They just
okay. Well, okay, we done. Okay, the next one you gave me. This is interesting. Portal. What's the story here?
All right, so I gave you guys two from last cycle that I just would not touch with a 10-foot pole, like a dead on arrival. And you look at this chart, and it's like, wow, massive success on this launch. I believe the market cap on launch here was like $1.8 billion fully diluted. But the problem here is a lot of these new shiny coins with great marketing, etc., that does not always mean that they're good buys. So the problem with this coin has been the dilution. Every month for the next 18 months, there are tokens coming into circulation. And right now, Portal doesn't really do anything. It's just this, they call it the universal gaming coin, but there's no use case to it, right? So what you've seen is it launched at what, like $3? This thing's down basically 85% since that wick up there is even higher. Oof. So when you look at the all chart here, and it's down 44% just this month. So the problem is only 20% of tokens are currently circulating. So 80% of the money still is to come, and it's already looking like this. So the point here being is not all the new shiny toys in the market that have this flashy marketing, that does not mean that it is a good buy. That does not mean you should take a position. And this is a prime example of that.
So 20% are only available in the market currently. We got 80% getting unlocked. We are 90% down from the highs and looking a little bit tired. I mean, yeah. So
I had to give a newer one, but this is the perfect example of dilution just crushing retail investors.
Okay, so stay away. If you're looking for an investment in a gaming project, maybe not Portal, maybe not Sand, maybe not Decentraland now. Maybe there's better places where you can put your dollars and things like that. Okay, so those are the three disasters at the moment. And then, guys, there is good news coming. We didn't want to ruin everyone's weekend for those holding Sand and Mana or Decentraland and Portal.
I'm blown away.
Right, 24 users a day. I mean, what more do you want? And I mean, what amazing market cap. Okay, so we're done with those absolute shit coins. Then I wanted to talk to you about three of your best picks, and we can go through those now. And then also, there's something brewing here at the moment, Mocaverse, and that is something that is on everybody's lips. And we've partnered with Mocaverse here, and we got a little bit to talk about here. So. Let's open the batting here. Just explain roughly what Mocaverse is here for us, what's behind it, and what's going on here. What's the story?
Yeah, absolutely. So last summer, the Animoca brands entity put out this NFT collection, and it really was kind of marketed as this family and friends of Animoca brands. I got involved in it early, luckily, and throughout the time periods, it's just kind of evolved, and they started hinting at a token coming out. This is basically the official collection / project of Animoca Brands. So underneath Animoca Brands portfolio, they've invested in probably 1,000 different gaming projects and projects in the metaverse, NFTs, etc. But this is kind of like, if you're thinking of an ETF of gaming projects, I would say Moca Coin, which is about to TGE here pretty soon, is kind of got that feel to it, because you're basically investing in the biggest VC firm in the crypto gaming space, in the history of crypto gaming, and they're putting it all kind of into one coin. And my thought would be, it's likely going to come packed with rewards, different utility that you get from other ecosystems, different utility from the Animoca Brands portfolio potentially. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Okay, so essentially it's a token linked to all of their projects. Would that be the correct description?
Yeah, the way, like I said, the way that they term it is, it's kind of like this Animoca chain type of ETF that kind of assembles everything that Animoca does as an entity into a project. Okay,
and some of the projects that they're part of?
Yeah, well, so some of the projects that they're partnered with, like Pixels, they partner with OKX Wallet, they have Polygon, Chiliz, CoinGecko, Yuga Labs, Imaginary Ones. They have some big brand partnerships as well. I mean, they have basically all of the big alliances on you know, as far as partners and utility.
Yeah, I see they got Honda. They're involved with Honda, Chess.com, Line Friends. I mean, there's some...
Yeah, and when you look at the comparable market caps to this, I actually think there's probably opportunity. I mean, most of these other gaming projects are 2 billion, 3 billions. You know, Aptos is 9 billion, but Animoca Brands just has so much like packed into it. I could totally see this launching at a few $billion market cap. I'm not going to overshoot it. Everyone overshot the recent Blast TGE, which only launched like $2 billion. But I think this could 100%, rightfully so as well, not just on a hype perspective, launch at a few $billion market cap based on the competition.
Jeez. Okay. So yeah, looking solid here. And I mean, past achievements and metrics here, it says here, they sold their public sale, was sold out in 6 hours. 120 million plus market cap, 60 million trading volume to date. They raised $31.8 million total funding. So yeah, things are looking big. Things are looking good. Rumors saying recent valuation, $1 billion if it's true. So yeah, like you're saying, could overshoot that quite a bit. And things could start moving there. Okay, lovely. Thank you. Any other comments here for MOCA?
I mean, I think it's just pretty cool how they launched this collection for 0.06, and it's going to come packed with a lot of stuff. The NFT's got a token airdrop. It's sitting at a few ETH currently. A lot of good things that came out of this, and they did a really good job of developing this project. So I'm excited to just see where this launches and kind of puts a perspective on where similar projects should launch in the future. And then it might dim down the expectations of a single game when it doesn't launch at $1 billion market cap. I think it's going to make more sense when we see where Animoca lands, who kind of controls a lot of the market.
Sure. Okay, nice. Okay, so now what you guys have been waiting for. We've given you the bad news. We broke your hearts. Okay, now let's patch them up. Let's make things better, because my view on some of these gaming tokens in general, we've seen massive drawdowns, some of them bigger than we expected. And I mean, I've got a whole host of gaming tokens, but let's go through some of the ones that you want to talk about and some of your favorites here. But let me just get my chart up that is working here for us, that has an actual pen for me. Let me see if we can find that one quickly. Okay, this one seems to be a workable screen. Okay, so let's go Hustle's top 3. Where can we move out of the dogs into the winners?
All right, let's go top 3. And I'm gonna, what I'll do is kind of give you different flavors, right? Everyone knows the stuff I really like. Prime, Beam, those types of things. They're in the poll on the side. And if they watch my show, they hear about those all the time. Let's start with Ronin, RON.
Okay, this is an old favorite here, Ronin. I'm sure we've dealt with this a couple of times. Oh, look at that. Okay.
So to me, Ronin is, fundamentally speaking, one of the most strong gaming coins in the entire industry. They have the most users, they have the most liquidity, they have the most sentiment. They're about to, and traditionally, this is the chain that incubated Axie. They have pixels on their chain. They have some of the biggest games and player numbers in the space. When you look at this, they're actually about to open it open source. So traditionally, they have not allowed games. So if you're building a game, Dylan, you can freely choose without having to get approval to build on Polygon, ETH, Solana. That doesn't take any, you can build a game on any blockchain except for Ronin. Ronin has required approval to build on their chain up to this point. And I honestly think that's why they got the brand rep that they have now, where people want to build on Ronin. And I think the network effect that we see now is going to multiply whenever they open the doors, which is coming up very soon, where developers can literally just build on Ronin because they want to. So I think we're going to see a lot of games shifting over here for market share.
Okay, and look, relative to some of these other gaming tokens, this is down 56% from the highs. Some of these others were down 70, 80%. I mean, yeah, we don't have to get into all of them, but yeah, relatively less punished.
Less punished. Yeah, they're all punished, though. It's been tough out here.
No, it has been. I mean, the market as a whole, we've seen a lot of these altcoins that we regularly trade, even things like AVAX and whatever, down 65, 70% from the highs. And, it's been quite messy out there since the highs of March. So, 56 relative strength, I would say, 56% down. And no surprise here. The science coming into play once again, 618. Look at that. 618 on the weekly. Nice little level here for us. And we're getting a little reaction here. So Ronin also on a level, just like you've seen Sand, you've seen Decentraland sitting on massive levels. Ronin sitting on a level. Maybe you want to switch out while Ronin's on a potential bounce level here. Maybe this could be an opportunity just to rotate potentially. And if this thing is going to bounce, it's a simple play. We're just looking for a little move up there. So we're looking for a move about 2.5 potentially. And then we deal with it accordingly. But right now, 2 shit coins on a level, 1 non-shit coin on a level. So it could be a rotation play, for you guys. Okay, what is the next one? What is the next one we got?
Yeah, and the one thing I want to cover in the comments, Base Reality, the latest comment says meme coins wrecked the liquidity. That also, in my opinion, does have a lot to do with why we're seeing RWA bleed and gaming bleed and AI bleed, because everyone's moving out of these projects to free up liquidity. They're selling their tokens, they're selling their NFTs, because they aren't liquid enough to trade these meme coins. You get rugged on a couple of them, all of a sudden you got to sell more positions. So yeah, it's just a really tough time period in the market right now for alts. But let's take a look at Notcoin, NOT. Like I said, I'm gonna switch up the flavor today.
Yeah, let's go. We've actually been trading this one a little bit, Notcoin. There's been a little bit of action on this one. Talk to me about this.
So the Telegram network, in my opinion, has some of the most potential, not only just TON and users across the apps, the trading bots. It literally just makes so much sense why TON could potentially be huge this cycle. But most importantly to me, I've seen multiple gaming projects build a small little mini game now. They're experimenting on TON and they're bringing games to Telegram. I saw one, Citus yesterday put out a announcement. There's 50,000 players playing their new little mini game experience in 48 hours. Cool. 50,000 people. There's literally no other network out there except for what I just talked about, Ronin, that is bringing those numbers. So I think first of all, Not is kind of like that top end. It has some gaming flair to it in the ecosystem. It's high market cap. It's going to be pretty stable. If we see TON go to 50, 75 billion this cycle, I think we see 10, 15 here out of Notcoin easily. And I'm betting on games that have the, for lack of a better words, the coconuts to go and build a game on TON. And my thought process is the users, if they really like the game on TON, they'll dive into the broader ecosystem. And Notcoin kind of encompasses the gaming side of the TON network.
Okay, so well, thanks for explaining that to me because I just knew it was linked to the TON network. I had no idea. We just traded this thing a couple of times. Okay, so yeah, Notcoin, interesting. Look, interesting side of things. Yeah, we are retesting an interesting level. We're hitting a trend retest currently, so there is a potential of a bounce here in this region. So I'm watching 145, 0.0145. You can see we got a nice little trend retest here. We got some horizontals in play, so potential bounce over here for Not, and then slightly lower. 0.0141, nice little area for me as well. I like that little guy there. So two little zones. Yeah, we could get some action or not, but long-term play, like this is a spot buy for you guys. Could be an absolute banger. I'm loving the TON network. I've got resistance dog and grabbed that thing earlier. It was the first
on redo. Let's go.
First dog on the TON network, had to do it. I'm just waiting for some more fun memes on that network, but yeah, there's a few coming. I understand.
Yeah, I think TON is the play this cycle. And I see someone in the comments thought we said run to 75 billion. That would be 100x. That is not happening. We said TON to 75 billion.
TON to 75x. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So Notcoin looking good. Has been sold off a little bit here. And let's just look at bigger picture one more time. Let's just get a view on this thing. And yeah, so look, we are dipping down. There could be a little bit more downside here. If we look at this thing on the daily, we can see we do have some levels lower down. But as far as potential bounce plays in the short term, right here where we are, which I've given you already, that could be a nice area. And then if there is still more weakness, you're looking at this 125 level. So 0.0125, that sort of level of interest there for me. So if we don't hold the current region that I've just shown you guys, and if we don't bounce there, then we are looking a little bit lower down, 0.0125. So that, yeah, looking interesting there. Nice one.
Yeah, I'm bullish there. And then I see comments about it. And also, I just want to know in general, let's take a look at Prime, because this thing has been volatile. It has been one of the best performers in gaming this entire year. But what we're seeing is a huge correction amidst a huge run. Sometimes when these tokens run this hard, just like an AI, the fall is quite tremendous. But
Wow.
Nothing's changed fundamentally with the project. It's just, it went from $1 to $27. Now we're back at $8. What are you seeing on the charts here? I mean, it's still one of my absolute favorite coins this cycle. It has so far basically performed similarly to Axie. And what I have to say before you jump into the charts here, people who got into Axie, I see people talking about Prime is cooked, etc. But last cycle, guys, Axie Infinity suffered 3 to 4 different 40% downturns. Now, this has been more than 40% since the top. It's more like 60% or so. But at the same, he's got my coconuts in the salad shooter. You guys are wild. All right. But you had to stomach 40+% downturns on Axie before you hit 100x last cycle. So what are you seeing on the charts here, Dylan? Yeah,
so look, it looks like opportunity coming. If you're telling me fundamentals are still intact and this is still a good project, there's opportunity coming right now. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see where this thing's going to bounce or at least react here. So, you know, this is the weekly chart I'm looking at, and right now it's dropping into quite a hot zone for me. So, you know, this has to be a buy zone. Look at the size of this level. So I base these levels off, you know, the strength of the candles sitting on those zones. And I've got weekly candles sitting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeklies in that area. I've also got my 786 fib tied in perfectly here as well. So, you know, look, we might not see all-time highs for a while, but what I can give you guys, if you're sitting in Prime, you know, we're looking at a point here where we're going to get a nice strong reaction off that type of level. So for me, big zone, 6.9 to 7. 6.9 to 7, big bounce zone there. I think there's going to be a great trade when we do ping that area. I think it's just a matter of time and we are going to hit it. So I think you can sit back and be patient here. And you can see these things generally, these big levels are like magnets. They come eventually. You know, there's often a lot of up, down along the way. But at some point, the bottom of a lot of these moves gets marked where it touches a major level. And there's a major level approaching here at 7. So that could be potentially the downside that you're going to be looking for.
Yeah, still a strong project. Nothing's changed, but this chart is scaring everyone in the gaming token sector. So Good to see that we're at least nearing some hopeful bounce levels.
Yeah, like if you're telling me fundamentally this thing's intact, this looks like an opportunity. It's going to be a 75% move from the highs, and fundamentally we're good. Maybe that's a nice rotation play from one of the other shit coins into this project. So yeah, it could be a good one.
Well, I was talking to Kyle today, and like he said, 80% of the money is made in the back end 20% of the cycle, right? And I think that's going to ring true specifically for AI in gaming. I think you're going to probably see the most explosive bunch of movement across the market during that last 20%. But you have to make it to that last 20%, and you have to make sure that your positions are packed by then. And these gaming coins are just getting so cheap. Like I think it is nearing DCA time, at least if you're in it for the long haul. And I always say, I'm not playing for tomorrow. I'm playing for the real deal bull market. So if you have the stomach to do it, I think that there's a lot of good entries out there nearing.
So the real bull market, look, it is coming. At some point it is coming. You see, I've got my gaming list here on the right. I haven't now updated these in a while, but let's see. Let's take a look. We can see playable games, big sell-off here. Huge levels coming here. I mean, this is a massive retracement. You still like playable?
I still do like it. When Avalanche pumps, this is going to pump. And that's exactly why it did what it did. The reason we caught this trade is because Avalanche around that time period started hitting a really big wave, and the gaming projects underneath Avalanche were running really hard. And that's exactly why we caught this one. But ever since then, Avalanche has not made noise, literally probably since the top of this chart. So the problem has been the network effect. So like everyone's focused on memes, Solana, base chain. Attention's just not on Avalanche yet. So it honestly has almost retraced to our entry point. Another 30% downturn from here, I think, is around our entry point. So, you could be seeing a good entry there. Nothing's changed, in my opinion. It's just, it's the season, right? This is going to rip when gaming or Avalanche rips. So for now, that's just not right now.
So it's quite simple. I mean, this thing's dropped 90% but remember, if it's going to pump back up here and you holding this token, I mean, just back to the center level here, you're looking at a 410% move. The minute interest comes back into AVAX, the gaming sector, these type of things. And we know AVAX was pushing, $58. There was news all over the place with AVAX and games and all these things. There were partnerships. And like you're saying, that's quiet again now. But let's not sleep on this. I mean, would this be a better buy than, say, Sand at the moment?
Oh, 100%. At least this project is kicking. They update all the time. The games in their ecosystem, you can check on Epic Games. They have players like they're giving out, they actually have a real ecosystem. So it is better than Sand in my opinion.
Okay, well, there you go. So there's a buy opportunity. There's like literally maybe 400% upside there on playable games. Cetus losing a level here on the weekly, so not looking great. But where are we on this? Where are we on this project?
Yeah, as mentioned, I loved the fact that they are willing to adapt. The one thing about a lot of teams in this industry, when you pay attention to fundamentals especially, every team thinks that they know best. Oh, the moves that we're making for our token and for our ecosystem, no one can tell us that we're wrong. But Citus is willing to adapt. So they see the TON ecosystem really going hard. Well, they incubated a new experience called TON Station, and it's got 50,000 players, as I mentioned earlier, in 48 hours. So this is how you pivot and make a little bit of noise and start to get some sentiment out of it, right? Right now, though, it's not going to do major moves. But when gaming comes back around, this is always one of the those candles on the upside on both of those big runs. Citus was, those are pretty solid gains on both of those. So when you look at it,
600% first move, 208% second move. So yeah, nice. But you can see there's a long coming. And guys, don't think gaming is now just disappeared. And these narratives in crypto, it's very fickle. People jump around. Right now, it's all about the memes. But at some point, that dries up. They're going to move back into AI. They're going to move back into gaming. It's inevitable. It will be coming, and the strongest gaming tokens will survive. The ones with strong fundamentals are going to hold, and they're going to be okay. Let's do one last one here on my list. Which one? PYR, Nakamoto Games, Super. Which one do you want to look at?
Let's speed run Peer and Super.
Okay, let's go. Ooh, okay. So PYR. Also, you self-houseless wrecked. Let's go from the highs. We are 67% down relative to, say, some of the others. That's actually not as bad. But moving into
not as bad. It's more like the average drop that we've seen.
It's pretty much average. But look at this. I mean, we got such a big level coming here, guys. And I think it's just a matter of time. We can see Cedus wants to go a little bit lower. We've got Playable wanted to go a little bit lower. And look at this, PYR 2.6. If you get PYR 2.6, that's a buy any day of the week. Look at this range. I mean, the way they sat in this thing for this whole period. When was this? From June 22. Okay, this was our solid range low. And I would say when we get to that zone, even if we're not going to hold that zone, we're going to get an initial bounce off that area. So even if they are going to turn it over after that, we will get a move. We will get some kind of reaction on that zone. And it would be, for me, at least about a 30% bounce minimum if we hit that area.
Yeah, throughout the bear market during those lows, I always said around $2.60 to $3 was a good accumulation. Yeah. I do hold true on that. And, you know, a lot of people get scared by these candles, but if you keep up with the developments on some of these projects, you know, nothing's changed. It's just the way that the market's flowing right now. And yeah, if it gets to that 260 level again, I would highly advocate that that's probably a buy.
It's a buy zone. It's 100% a buy zone. Did you see what Paul says? He says, I made 10 times profit buying the wrong beam last time.
A lot of people bought the... we talked about Beam back in the fall when they moved it over from Merit Circle. And I remember the amount of comments I was getting on my videos and on Twitter, like, hey, I bought this Beam, but it doesn't seem to be the same token. And I'm like, oh no, but hey, worked out.
It's so crypto. You buy the wrong token and you're making money. I mean, it's... You gotta love this.
Gotta love it.
Hustle, thanks for hanging, guys. You got the picture. Stay away from those three dogs. Move them into some better plays. The whole gaming market is down at the moment, but other alts are also down at the moment. So you know you don't have to feel too offended by it. They're not just picking on gaming. So gaming will come back. Gaming will bounce again. Remember, you can follow Hustle on his channel there in the game. Take a look there. And then Hustle's he's gonna be a special guest for us next week on Sniper Club. We've got a private closed Zoom session for Sniper Club members. Hustle's coming in and he's going to share some much deeper alpha there. Looking forward to that one. Hustle, thanks for hanging.
Yeah, I love it every time. We always dive into the weeds and try to give the people the gems while you give them the science behind the gems. So I appreciate you having me.
We'll catch you next week. Okay, guys, I'm back on Sunday. So we're going to see if BTC and Sol, we're going to get our entries perhaps. Maybe these tokens are going to bounce here at these levels. I'm back. Banter Plus on Sunday. We're going to do a full update for the week ahead. And yeah, we're going to plan everything. Hopefully these entries are going to be playing out for us. Other than that, enjoy your weekend. See you guys later.